Shell, the big question right now is what will happen to markets when they open on Wednesday? It's been a terrible Tuesday, a black swan events of sorts, and we've seen the kind of wealth destruction that has happened today. Is Wednesday going to be better, or are investors in for more short-term pain?
So Siddharth, I don't see any let up in terms of the, how should I say, the dislocation that the market has suffered. Will the pain be as much as we've seen today? That's unlikely, because you don't see simultaneously 5-7% downticks on a regular basis, but the pain will be prolonged. So it's not a end to horrors, but what will possibly happen over the next 2 or 3 sessions is that you'll see the PSUs being derated further. The Adani group, of course, will continue to suffer some pain. Out of the 10 Adani stocks that we track, about 7 of them ended 20% lower. 2 of them were down between 7 and 9%, and 2 ended about 5-7% lower. So that pain will most probably persist, not in the percentage terms, but in the terms of stocks falling a little more further. But I would imagine that the worst is behind us, and now it will be 1,000 cuts that will keep on coming, because the voting is still not over and the counting is still not over, and I would just reserve my judgment unless I see the final tally that the NDA will have. As you know, between say 3:30 p.m. and now, the tally slipped from 300 plus to about 294, and still we don't have the final number. The Congress party has held an event, the presser that we just cut into, but there is no word from the BJP.
Okay, these are comments, viewers. This is important at 6:15 p.m. IST, and because this video is going to be available separately, where we try and answer this question that will the pain continue? Will there be prolonged pain, or is there a recovery, at least the beginnings of a recovery in offing? Will the markets and specific counters and sectors start clawing back? We are trying to decode that here at BTTV, so that Wednesday morning when you approach the markets, you have some guidance. Sakshi, I'm coming to you. The point that Shail raised, and this is the worst over, or is there going to be more pain? Sakshi Batra.
Well, Siddharth, if there is more pain to be had, we need to see what Rahul Gandhi really comes up with the statement tomorrow after speaking to the coalition partners, and in the interim, what the NDA government really talks about as to whether they are in a strong footing to really form the government this time around. Most of the brokerage houses, I have 2 brokerage houses reports, UBS and MK, that are pointing out right now the situation seems that the NDA will be formed with the dependence on the allies, which means the government, the BJP will not have that kind of a strong position which it had enjoyed in the last 5 years or 10 years for footing as well. So which means they will have to depend on the allies, they will have to share cabinet portfolios, and that would mean policy paralysis, and that could be a big dampener, and the markets are going to be jittery for the long term. Now, in case there is this banner of sorts coming in from Rahul Gandhi that they are in a position to form the government, if something to that tune, which none of the market experts had so far assumed. If that happens, markets could fall further. Shankar Sharma, Gaurang Shah, both of our 2 guests who joined us for the closing comments, they did say we cannot rule out a 5 to 10% downtick in case uncertainty has to prevail.
Sakshi, stay with us. You are in the newsroom, and the scenario shell that Sakshi just outlined, I will try and read that from the UBS quick report on India market strategy, headlined as a weaker mandate for Modi. What does it mean for the markets? And in answer to the question that they asked themselves, how will the new government look like? They gave 3 scenarios. I take scenario 3 first. Some of the key alliance partners of the BJP switch sides. Shail, and this question is coming to you. And the opposition INDI alliance comes to power. And UBS says this could lead to meaningful changes in trajectory of government policies. Now, we don't know whether scenario 3 will
Yes.
play out. We are not saying that. We are just putting on record stuff that is already floating and being discussed in the markets. So viewers, don't get upset with us. Don't shoot the messenger. We are just asking these questions. Earlier today, on a very brief appearance on India Today, I said that part of the nervousness in the markets is the fact that the BJP is short of a majority on its own, and will there be a 3.0? And that's a question that's still up in the air. Shell, will this be the biggest factor weighing on markets, or will the markets will say, hey, anybody can come into government as long as they don't do something completely crazy, we'll be okay?
So, Siddharth, I'll qualify my answer by saying that this is in response to a question out of a research report whether the scenario 3 where the present incumbent goes out of power and a new leadership is in place as far as the market is concerned, then you will see further destruction in prices. Sectors that were favored by the present dispensation will be derated very sharply. In any case, stock prices in the PSU segment, whether it's defense, whether it is railway, whether it is the PSU banks, were flying very high, far above what their true value was, and all these will suffer further destruction. My understanding is that the NDA alliance was formed before this election was taking place. The flock will stick together, and most probably about 90-95% it is the NDA government that is coming back in power, unless this data changes for the worse, because the results are still to be out. The BJP and the NDA are yet to claim victory. So we have to keep these two caveats in mind. Should they claim victory and the results are in favor of the BJP-led NDA alliance or the NDA-led BJP alliance?
Well, Shail, you know, developments continue.
Yes.
And I repeat once again, viewers, you will see this discussion as a recorded video. So don't sort of lose your bearings. Mamata Banerjee obviously going on the front foot, calling for the Prime Minister's resignation, saying that she's been in touch with various alliance partners, and Mamata herself had kind of in the last few days displayed a certain different mood. But Sakshi and Shail, I'll come to you first, Sakshi. The Nifty has had a big correction. How do you think major market participants are likely to approach this level? Do you see anybody adding to their positions, or will they wait for a further correction if a far more negative worst case scenario like the one that has been outlined by one brokerage house, if that were to play out?
Absolutely. So Siddharth, some of the smart money has also flowed in. If we look at the intraday chart, we will be able to see that the sharpest dip did see some buying action. Now, whether that was short covering or some other money really pouring in is something that we will get to know. But long-term investors have at least started to nibble into this dip for sure. They have bought a lot of people who I have spoken to, even our guests. Gaurang Shah also said that I did buy in my personal capacity in the dip today. So there are several long-term investors who made use of this sharp dip, a 1,500 point of a dip. That is unusual and rare kind of an event. Markets have matured. We have seen that retail investors have seen that the markets have the capacity to bounce back after any major event. The biggest event in the past to refer to is the COVID-19 case that we saw, a sharp downfall, but the way markets recovered did talk about the maturity of the retail investors. So the long-term investors may have used this opportunity to probably put in SIPs and mutual funds. Traders are still going to be staying a little on the edge till the time uncertainty really clarifies.
Shail, this was not an election outcome that market valuations were set up for. India has been expensive, and everyone, including Jim Rogers, pretty much has maintained that. I don't know the trajectory of corporate earnings. Perhaps significantly divorced, barring a few sectors,
Yes.
from a political result. But given this reference that Sakshi made to post-COVID adjustments and pragmatism by various investors, including retail investors who then started rushing in significant numbers, is that also likely to play out? Because people will start finding pockets of value in this market.
Siddharth, pockets of value were visible about a week ago when the good monsoon and a very strong GST number, a very strong GDP number came in. Look at how the FMCG stocks have performed today, in particular Hindustan Unilever, Dabur, Hero Motors as well. So the new dispensation, whether it is led by the BJP and the NDA alliance, or let's presume 1% it happens that a Congress-led alliance will come in, then the money will be spent in ameliorating this rural distress, this unemployment, this pain that we are seeing as far as inflation is concerned, and those kind of stocks are gaining ground. My understanding, Siddharth, is that this is a knee-jerk reaction.
But how long? How long will this knee-jerk remain?
This will remain in place for at least 2.5 weeks, unless we know what the cabinet is. See, Siddharth.
So is this a time, Shail, where caution should trump greed? Because everyone's fearful, but if you see large dips, large cuts, greed also comes back into play.
See, Siddharth, my own understanding after 27 years in the market and 30 years as 30 years in the market, out of which 27 I have been a journalist, is you should not catch a falling knife. It's a very simple answer.
Well, Rahul Arora also said that, former journalist and now the CEO of Fund House, but there is greed. There is greed. People have certain addictions. They know they are not good, but they still indulge in them. And trading on the markets is also addiction. It's also almost become like a mobile phone game, and people buy and sell while walking around through their mobile phone.
So for those who wish to deploy, like you said, they are addicted to the market. The best thing is to buy an ETF, and that too either on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty, possibly Nifty because it's slightly wider. My understanding is that unless we have which coalition will be forming the government, you shouldn't put in serious money. It is okay, we chatter on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a minute basis, ye dekhiye, wo dekhiye, but real money is not made that way. My understanding is if there is a Congress-led alliance, the scenario 3 you point out, there will be immense wealth destruction.
Shail, I'm sure you, me, and as we wrap up this conversation, have been getting messages, and we've been sort of asked this while walking around. Kal kya kare? And Sakshi, I don't know if you want to answer that, but just some bit of data for us to consider. The last time that we had a major upheaval when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was voted out in 2004, that was also a surprise, India shining moment.
Yes.
At that time, the Nifty was just around, I can see a 12.24% change happened then.
Yeah.
I am looking at other data, but 4 June 24 will go down in history as far as the Nifty is concerned, the biggest one day.
This is the single largest point loss that we've ever seen.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
because the base is far higher.
Yes.
So in percentage terms, it might be so, but given the very sizable base, this is the biggest single day point
then
fall.
people who are in their right frame of mind should take a cue from that. A fall of this magnitude does not end in one day. It slows down, and while it is slowing down, it still falls. And we really don't know what the outcome is. Unless the BJP claims victory, the market will keep on slipping. Two sets of stocks, one highlighted by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and the other, the PSUs, they will continue to get derated, Siddharth. This is the most practical observation that I can make. Unless we know who's making the government, we will not know the sectors that will go up.
It's
except for
interesting you mentioned two stocks from a derating perspective,
Yes.
but you also maintain that this is not a market derating in the short term, Shail?
Siddharth, it is not a market, the froth that was there, and Sakshi and I have often discussed this, chota packet, bada dhamaka, high beta, PSU names, all those will go out of favor.
Okay.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo is what people used to do in the morning. आज हटको खरीद लेते हैं, 3 दिन बढ़ा हुआ है, 3 दिन से गिरा हुआ है, स्टील अथॉरिटी, NMDC, यार कुछ भी ले लो यार, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, कोई भी डिफेंस काउंटर ले लो, 5% तो बढ़ ही जाएगा. मेकिंग मनी वॉज ईजी. दैट एंडेड, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, टुडे, एंड नाउ हार्ड वर्क इज बैक. You need to rework your Excel sheet, not your phone.
Well, Sakshi, okay, quick 10 seconds as I wrap up.
Absolutely, Siddharth Shail is right when he says the time to make easy money in the markets is probably behind us now. It's now the time for a difficult time. Whatever coalition comes in, we are in for some uncertain weeks ahead, and that the markets will not appreciate for sure. And
Okay.
therefore, Ramdev Agarwal also pointed out one thing in his statements today, and he said, "I'm hoping for next 12 years or 18 years as the year of a low return for the markets going forward." So we have to temper down our expectations from the market returns.
Our politics being reset, viewers, and a reset in the markets
Yes.
as well. But remember, as Shailendra Bhatnagar said, hard work will trump everything else, and I'm glad he didn't say Harvard. But I'll leave you with that thought. We'll be back early tomorrow once again on Market Today on Business Today Television as we try and decode day 2 of what's been one of the most negative surprises in the recent past for the Indian markets. And the big question, kiski banegi fir se sarkar, is still up in the air. And those developments will happen after this discussion. So by tomorrow morning, things might be even more clearer. Thank you, viewers. And with that, it's a wrap on our day-long coverage. We'll see you again. Until then, goodbye.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.